picky.
And
Gotcha.
good. Watch
What
out
other
for-
rules do we have? I don't think we
We
have.
don't have any
more
other rules. You
Turn
can
my
definitely
phone
throw
off.
shit at Matt if you want.
Don't-
You can hit him in the face with that belt.
Don't
You
throw
can,
stuff at that.
You can throw all the shade you want. I mean,
Bill
that's
gets-
actually encouraged.
Hey, I'm always going to be honest and talk about whatever is what's going on.
Well, I told Matt,
I did
I was
radio
like-
for a lot of years too.
Did you
so-
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
over at Kiss and Mega and stuff like
Oh,
that.
dope.
Yeah,
That's
so,
really cool. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I was telling Matt, I was like, I'm actually really excited for this because you and I, like, we've done tons of shows together, hung out together, but, like, I don't know the real Mike B. Dapper.
Not too many people do that.
No, you're an enigma wrapped in secrecy. And I also said I was going to introduce you. Meat Sweats, episode 78. We have Mike Catch These Hands Dapper.
I should have wore the shirt. That's the shirt I should have worn.
You have a shirt that says Catch These Hands?
Now I got a shirt that says these hands are rated E for everyone.
Nice. That's a good shirt.
I should have wore that one.
I love that. I love that though. You're like one of the few motherfuckers in the scene that I have reverence for because your dude is willing to throw down. Like you're a rare breed in today's social climate.
And I think that's the problem with our society, and that's what happened to our society back in the old days.
Yeah.
If you said something to a man,
Yeah.
you guys, if it was disrespectful, you guys would fight, and then that'd be it.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't shoot that person, you wouldn't stab that person.
Yeah.
You guys would fight. That would be it. You go on about your business. If he won, he won. You won, you won. You kept it moving.
Now there's a whole new level of pettiness and like sticking up for the downtrodden on the internet, and it's almost more hurtful than good. Like I've been watching a lot of. I watched this documentary that was on the BBC about these people that are vigilantes,
Okay.
and they're essentially like Chris Hansening people in the UK, and they're setting them up they're stinging pedophiles.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's good.
I love that.
That's
I'm mad that they took To Catch a Predator off air.
Yeah.
That's
shit.
great, but at the same time, imagine if they get it wrong. Imagine if they get the wrong person, then they shame this motherfucker publicly, and they dox his ass.
See, I'm willing to take that chance.
I'm
I'm
I
willing
am
to
too.
take that chance. You roll the dice. I mean, if you check this out, like if they're just gonna play it like Chris Hansen, if they're gonna do it like that, then chances are you were going there for a reason that you shouldn't be going there for.
Usually those text message chains, instant message chains are pretty well spelled out what's expected from that transaction. So in that situation, that's a situation where, this dude needs to be caught. He needs to be stopped. This cycle needs to end.
Don't get me wrong. I'm 100% for catching every one of those pieces of shit that preys on a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, you can watch people be just completely ruined by something that's not real or something that was just.
That's true. That's true in this climate. But then everything can get all mixed up and get thrown into things because of the way it's played. So it's like, that person on some Kevin Spacey shit, and they're like, but no one's actually seen, and it's like you don't want to. But it's like, hey, you get a couple of accusations. It's at some point in time.
No, I mean, guys like that, like Harvey Weinstein or Spacey or even CK.
Most men of power in this industry.
I mean,
much.
It is what it is. It's just. I mean, now they're
absolute power corrupts absolutely. And,
Absolutely.
I mean, fuck.
If you can get away with shit for as long as you get away with it almost to you becomes like it's fucking right and that it's okay. I mean, it's just a fucking sick thing that happens in the human condition, and like you're doing something for a certain amount of time, like you don't even have that fucking conscience anymore. You've got like people have to say something in order for the cycle to stop.
Yeah.
If no one ever fucking does anything and there's never any consequences whatsoever, like being a troll on the fucking internet and on Facebook and just saying whatever the fuck you want with no consequences, and then someone says, I'll meet you at the park and punch the taste out of your mouth. Like, that needs to fucking happen. Because the fucking shit that people say on the internet is fucking ridiculous.
I think we've got too lax as a society. I think the way we police certain people, and as far as like there's certain things you can do, certain crimes that are just horrible and be out in no time, and do petty crimes like sell a little weed,
Sell a little weed in a red state,
in a red state, and then you're up the creek, but yet somebody molests a kid in that same state, and they're out in less time, and it's like,
dude, there was like so back in the day they didn't used to have like threatening speech laws.
Okay.
So if someone in certain states, so this particular case happened in Pennsylvania, and this woman threatened a guy, and she's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." Like she was like a stalker woman, which doesn't happen very often.
Shit.
And people do that. People do that. People go, "Shit, the chick stalking you, pussy." Like, so this woman wound up killing this dude. Like, wound up fucking killing him dead.
So then the law
And then
changed.
they changed the law because threatening speech, and it had to be a man getting killed by a woman to do it.
And see, that's the thing. I've never personally threatened to kill anybody, and that's why I try to keep my threats
Non-excessive.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm not really mad. I never really get mad at certain people. Like, and there's only like 2 comics out there that I could say, like, yeah, if I saw them, I'll give them hands. But even then, the type of person that I am, like everywhere I go, I have boxing gloves in the back of my trunk.
Yeah.
So I'll try to shoot you a fair one. Like I'll try to give, like, because at the end of the day, I'll never.
You want to settle this? Let's settle it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll never start anything with anybody with anybody. Like that's not my thing. But if you challenge me, then I have to see what you're saying, and especially if it's just like it's a lot of this stuff is petty, and I'll be the first person to tell you it is childish. I'll be the first person to tell you. Like I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've spent many an hour reading comment threads between you and other people, and just dying laughing at the fucking absurdity. Like, remember Nick Paul when he was trying to get the fucking... So you never met this guy. We used to call him Dick Balls.
Yeah.
I used to call him Dick Balls because he was a fucking loser.
He was, you know what? My gripe always with Nick Paul in the beginning was he didn't care about what he was doing.
Right.
As somebody who was running an open mic, and you had a lot of comics, especially when I first started doing comedy at Stand Up Scottsdale, you had a lot of comics that were like bright eyed, that were really going there, that was like really hungry.
And you had like 40 people there on a Wednesday.
Right. And then you have, the MC back there, drinking and macking bitches and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. Like,
He just wanted to be the guy.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be the guy, and for having no like talent or anything to be the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it was more or less the times that he would shine, it was more on the shitting on people.
Yeah.
Like, say if a new comic would come up and they were trash, and he'd get up there and he'd shit on it. It'd be funny, but it'd be like, that's the only shine that you're doing. And I didn't like that at the time.
Yeah.
So it was more like let's migrate out, because that was the only spot I did.
Yeah.
So we migrated out, and then it's like it fell apart, and like he kind of got mad, and he had a contest, and it went crazy, and the crowd turned. It was funny. Like everything that I get involved in is never really my fault. But
Paul at one point was gonna organize, and there's been a few people who have talked about it, but a comedy boxing.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first comedy boxing match that I asked for, and I still haven't got one.
And
But-
he was fucking salivating for it. He was just like, let's do this. Like, when's the date? Let's fucking get the venue. Let's go.
because here's the thing, he act like he wanted it, and
He did.
He act like and he was making these gestures.
He thought he was tough too.
It was almost like some woman stuff, because it was kind of like he was like, let's do this. But then on the other hand, I'll tell the police on you.
Yep.
And it's like, wait a minute.
that's
It's
fucked
like,
up.
come get this pussy. But I'm gonna say you raped me. Like,
Yeah,
wait a
that's fucked
minute.
up. Yeah.
So But you know the funny thing about me and Nick Paul are good friends now.
Are you really? Is
Yeah.
he still
That's
alive?
Yeah. He's like,
He doesn't have cirrhosis of the liver yet?
oh no, he's out there. I think he's married. Married. Yeah,
Did he marry that girl?
I don't know if it's that
The
girl.
one without the chin?
I don't
You know
see.
what
I'm not
I'm
gonna fuck it up. I'm not fucking up a happy home. But I know he did settle down and he's like living that good life and stuff like that. Like we talked and he apologized. I think it was at Boog's funeral.
Really?
Yeah. And the thing about me is, if you apologize, I'll always accept a sincere apology.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, you come correct and you speak your piece and you say what you got to say. I'll always listen to somebody.
Yeah.
Always.
Just like if you give me a Kobe Bryant apology, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
If you give me that Tiger Woods apology, I'm like, fuck you. We still got to fight.
Yo, Tiger shouldn't apologize.
Like,
Fuck that. He was just doing his thing.
Yeah,
Leave Tiger alone.
He was
to an
being a
extent-
champion.
True.
He was being a champion.
True.
And as soon as he cleaned up his shit, he sucked at golf.
And it makes you want him to be just like a dog again.
He,
Like,
he got rid of that killer instinct where he was just chasing everything.
There's something to be
That was it.
said, like, for just living the way you're living and it keeping you where you are. But at the same time, like, maybe that brought him. I don't fucking know. Like, maybe it was just Tiger's time to fall.
No, I mean, here's the thing. It was like he was living the life. He was living that Michael Jordan life.
Yeah.
And he was untouchable except for like I don't know. I guess it all fell apart that night. Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy. Like, how do you just lose like that thing?
It's all wired into that fucking belief in yourself that you're so fucking unstoppable and you're so just nobody can fucking touch you, and then all of a sudden your wife beats the shit out of you with a golf club, and you're like, maybe I'm not so invincible. Maybe I don't have it all.
God, could you imagine get your ass beat with a golf club by your lady?
I mean, outside
Golf
of
clubs.
I can because it just happened to Bow Wow. I can because it just happened to Bow Wow.
Bow Wow's married. How old is Bow Wow now?
He's got to be like 30 now. He's got to be like an
gotta
adult,
be.
right?
He's an adult.
He's got to
definitely
be,
an
but he
adult.
just looks
Did
like a
you
kid.
see him?
still.
Does he
he
still
was-
look like a little kid?
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Even with a mustache.
He was at an award show and he was like starting the award show. He was like who the presenter was like at the beginning. Like,
Okay.
people are coming in and he goes, "We're about to have the da-da-da now." And then it doesn't start and they keep the camera on him and people just keep walking in and stuff. And he's just like, "Now."
Is
And he did that like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just kept on missing them, and then finally they just fade away from him when he's just standing there smiling.
Oh man, they did Bow Wow like that.
That's some pretty dirty production shit. It sounds like.
Oh, it was
Someone could have.
You're supposed to have somebody in your ear.
It was
Yeah.
so funny. It was so
It
funny.
had
They
to
could have
be
gone
the
to like.
BET Awards because there's nobody that's gonna allow Bow Wow to present anything.
I don't know what it was. I wish I could remember, but it was fucking.
Man, what were you doing
hilarious.
watching BET?
Nothing. I mean, I like to
Nothing?
stay cultured. I like to stay cultured. I want to make dating black women an option. You can't hit a sister if you don't watch BET.
You gotta get caught up on certain movies. You get caught up on certain movies, and then
I'm caught up on all the romantic comedy Tyler Perry
yeah.
movies.
You've seen Girls Trip?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes,
What
I
is
have.
Girls Trip?
It's a Tyler Perry movie
Okay.
where they all go on a trip to an island, and it's
Okay.
all very
See, you ain't
glamorous.
seen it. It's
No.
New Orleans.
Is
it New Orleans?
Yeah, it was New Orleans.
What's the one where they go to the island?
Lion mother-
What's the one?
See, here's the thing.
That's
one
the
thing
one
about
I've
me is
seen
I hate
those.
all Tyler Perry movies.
Yeah.
So, I do.
Do you watch them out of spite then?
I don't. I've never seen the Medea movie. I've never
I'm pretty sure one Medea.
I cringe at every time they comes onto the room.
I've never
you know
watched
what?
one.
I have seen one. I've seen Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and I was like, I think I've seen them all now. I think I've seen them all.
There's this lady I used to work with, Rita, and she would watch. There was one Tyler Perry movie she would watch religiously. We worked with special needs people, so we got to have movie day on Fridays, and she'd always be watching the same fucking Tyler Perry romantic comedy.
every day.
Yeah, every Friday almost. It was like that or a Toy Story movie.
I can deal with a Toy Story.
Toy
do
Story
Toy
is
Story.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many Tyler Perry. I've never seen a Tyler Perry movie. But
No?
No.
Yeah, you didn't miss nothing.
I just
It's like
don't-
you know what? I didn't see the end of that M. Night Shyamalan movie. You're like,
Yeah, you did.
He didn't
You're
miss
fine.
anything.
Yeah, it just there was a twist. You
There's
saw
going
it
to be a
coming.
twist, and it's going to be fucking stupid.
yeah,
You know?
you're not gonna really like it.
After he did it a couple of times, it's like, I get it. I get what you're doing.
We got it, M Night.
It's not fun anymore.
I mean, it's real good. It's the suspense that
Yeah.
leads up to it.
Yeah.
It's always great.
yeah.
He's got a fun name to say.
Yeah.
Shyamalan, M Night Shyamalan.
Here's why I never watched the Tyler Perry movie, because the Martin Lawrence dressing up as Big Mama,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
that was it for me. I was like, this is fantastic, because that was right at the time when I was a teenager, and I was like, I fucking love this. I think
Anything
this
Martin
is
Lawrence
great.
did when I was a teenager was fantastic. So
You know, here's the thing. I hate to be the one person and the only black person in here shitting on Martin Lawrence. But I hate just about every Martin Lawrence
Dude.
movie
You hate-
except for Life.
okay.
Life, okay, yeah.
Any movie, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, any movie that he had other people with him,
yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
Any movie that he's by himself on some Rebound,
Okay.
Black Knight,
Blue Streak? You didn't like Blue Streak?
Blue Streak was okay.
Okay.
And I think because he had Luke Wilson with him.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And Luke Wilson, as corny and weird as he is,
Yeah.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys. He had
Well,
Will
he
Smith.
had Will Smith.
He did.
Anytime
And Bad
anytime
Boys
he has
was
a co-star
fantastic.
with him,
Yeah.
he's great. But you put him by himself, I love Martin. If it wasn't for Martin,
I loved Bad Boys because Martin Lawrence was like a shrimpy little Danny Glover in that too. Like it was kind of like Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover and fucking what's his name?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, where Mel Gibson's a crazy guy and Will Smith's a crazy guy in this,
Yeah.
and Martin Lawrence is trying to play like the more straight guy.
See, now that I'm like married with kids and stuff like that, like that role Martin played as an angry, sexually frustrated husband and stuff like that.
It's resonating.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It's like, okay. His anger wasn't really with Will. It was because he was at home frustrated with dealing with all the shit at home.
I mean,
got it.
Yeah, you got your wife's not wearing pants with pockets on them, and you ain't hitting it on the regs. Like that's a frustrating move. You remember those pocketless pants that were popular in the 90s?
I do. You know what?
God.
When you say shit like that, that makes someone says, you know what? I want to bring that back.
Right? I hope people bring it back. Bring back pocketless butted pants. We need those back in society.
Is that a woman thing? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You don't remember those?
No. Listen, buddy.
Cult. I get it.
Cult
Yeah.
forests,
Yeah.
mountains, woods, dirt roads.
That's all right. You missed out on a great part of the 90s.
I've missed out on so much. You don't understand.
Man.
Like, there's some days where, like, I see something that's old. It's like 15, 20 years old. And I'm like, it's very popular amongst a bunch of people. I'm like, I don't remember this. Like, I don't remember this
Ooh,
happening.
that's weird.
It's super fucking weird.
That's really
to just
weird.
miss like an entire section of cultural references and shit where it's just like got nothing.
I'll give you one part of the 90s that I just probably like maybe 5 years ago found and was like, man, I can't believe that part of the 90s I did not know. And that was the Big Lebowski.
Oh.
Yeah, like maybe 5-6 years
mean,
ago, I saw it for the first time. And I was
With
like,
my last name being a ski name,
you had to.
I mean, everybody called me Lebowski. So I was just like, I watched that movie probably when I was 12 years old. And that's one of the best movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
most quoted in my life for sure.
It has some of the greatest quotes in
It's
there.
got some good ones.
It has some great ones,
Yeah.
man. And-
Most quoted in your life, though. I feel like you
Actually,
haven't watched enough movies.
the Austin Powers movies probably were.
Nah, you need to fucking.
We did a lot of that in college or in high school in the wrestling room.
Yeah.
Quoting Austin Powers constantly.
and
It was
they're supposed to have the sequel coming out.
Austin
Another
Powers
Austin
sequel?
movie?
No, time out. Slow back. Go rewind.
Lebowski?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
that'd be dope.
Yeah,
I
they
love
just
Jeff
had on
Bridges.
Twitter. They just had on Twitter.
That they're doing another one?
Yeah, they had him, and he's all old and all dressed, all in his, gears.
He's got the
yeah,
robe
he got
and
the
shit
robe
still.
on.
They're fucking ruin it.
I mean,
Fucking-
they probably will.
Oh, they gonna
but
bring
you
back
know you're
Walter?
gonna go. You're
I'm-
gonna get it. You're gonna give it a shot.
I'm absolutely gonna watch it. I'm
Exactly.
gonna fucking pay for it.
And
I'm gonna go to the nice movie theater next to my house with the reclining seats and the beers and spend a shit ton of money
That's
and
pretty-
be pissed when I walk out.
I was honestly really sad. I hadn't been to the downtown AMC, and every other AMC has fucking
the
reclining
one on
chairs.
Fillmore.
Yeah.
You haven't been there? Man, that used to be my spot.
I know. They have cheap ass movies. Like if I go to a movie in the afternoon and you get one of those cards, dude, they're cheap as fuck.
Never full.
Never full.
Oh yeah, that
But
one,
they
there's nobody
don't
ever
have
there.
the reclining chairs.
They will soon.
They fucking better. They want my business, AMC.
Oh, you got so millennial. You got so millennial on us.
I vote with my dollar.
They got a. I guess it's not a dollar flick, but it's like a $2.50 flick over on Bell in 27th Avenue, and they play movies that are like. I mean, some of them are on DVD now, or just came to DVD, and it's like old school. You go in there, and it doesn't have any form of recliner or neck rest. You got to have the strong neck, old school strong neck.
Can't sit in the front row, otherwise you're gonna give yourself a scoliosis of some variety.
But you ought to check it out. It's interesting.
I remember I used to go to fucking dollar movies all the time when I was a kid.
They used to have
lived at the dollar movies.
Elliott and McClintock. There's a theater right there. I can't remember what it's called, but they would have like dollar matinees.
Yeah,
and we'd take our special needs people to go see them.
It's weird because like when you go into those old theaters and you sit down in the seats and they don't pull back, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, you feel like, what the fuck's going on? Did I just get in a time capsule?
Yeah, it's like, how did hand jobs happen like that back in the day?
We used to be a hardier stock, man. We used to be able to deal with some shit. We're soft.
I mean, you got to give it up for women of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like because they were reaching over those.
Oh man,
like soldiers. They didn't give a fuck about arm cramps.
Nowadays, you can just literally lay down and have sex on. Just roll up a couple
That's
of
legit,
them.
too.
Just roll up a couple of armrests and be like, "This theater is ours today."
Pretty much. I mean, I had gone to a couple of those AMCs with an ex-girlfriend, and like we brought a blanket in and just pulled the armrest. I mean, definitely.
Did you?
100% got a hand job in AMC theater.
Yeah.
I can tell you which one. Tell you what seat I sat in. Remember?
Please do,
vividly.
so that I never go sit
Nope,
there.
just gonna let you go. Let you catch that landmine. I'm gonna let you catch that load mine.
If you do it like a boss, you tell her, I'm gonna rent out a theater for you and take her to a romantic movie during
You're
the
hilarious.
daytime. Yeah,
You're
and because
hilarious.
nobody's there at the AMC, and then until somebody just walks in like right before the movie, like fuck.
You go talk to him. You're like, "Hey, I rented this," and they're like, "You didn't," Like, but I did. Otherwise, you're gonna catch these hands.
Such a peaceful man.
I mean, so you talk about this in your act. You're married to a police officer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not lie and say that that's intriguing as fuck to me. That is so intriguing to me. One, because I got a thing for chick cops.
Yeah,
Like,
they tough.
they're tough, but at the same time, they make silly videos on TikTok. I swear to God, like
Silly videos on TikTok.
there are just as many chicks doing cosplay as there are female police officers on this app making silly videos.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering where my tax dollars are going.
What's TikTok?
TikTok is a video.
It's like a karaoke video.
Kinda.
app.
Oh, you know
thing.
what? I have seen them, like different officers
There's
doing
a
that
ton
stuff.
of chick cops on there on the regular. They're
And
always
some-
gorgeous
Some
too.
high ones, yeah.
I tell you what, every female police officer I see like on patrol is like
Never
I don't
met a-
know I don't know how you're this fucking hot and a cop.
Never met a bad looking one.
Well, there's a few. Maybe
I'm
because
sure
I
there's
work.
a few.
Because I work. Because my lady, I know some of her
Yeah.
peoples and stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's a few. You've
My-
been blessed
my
to not
roommate-
meet all of them.
My roommate in college got tased by a female officer because he was drunk trying to hit on her when she was arresting him.
Oh shit.
And we were in Wyoming, so nobody gives a fuck out there. And she just straight up tased him right in the neck. She's just like, "I'm not dealing with this." That was the bossest move ever.
Did he give you the
pissed
biggest
himself.
hard on? Did you get the
Yeah,
biggest
I did.
boner
I
in the
definitely
world?
did. I started trying to hit on her too, so she'd hurt me.
There's something about women when they do tough shit that makes you be like, you know what? I want to fuck her.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't
Like,
know.
It's
especially
like
when they like rough somebody up. I mean, look, I guess it's human, instincts, because when a woman sees a man defend her and all that kind of shit and grab, don't you ever touch my lady, then they sit up there and they be like, I have to fuck him tonight. Like, I do.
I get that same sensation with chicks, though. Like, I dated a girl that was an MMA fighter, and every time I watched her wrestle or fight, it was just like the fucking best for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, oh, kill her. Like, fucking eat her babies. Baby.
Nah, but it's really not all that different, being with a cop.
Yeah.
I mean, she allows me to be myself. Like, I know what you guys challenging somebody, as I would like to call it.
Did she ever like, baby, there's some legal ramifications
No,
you need to think about?
My girl's so down when I sit up there, and she'll always ask me to do things the right way. And so, just like I said, I asked for a charity boxing. So she'll sit up there and be like, all right, I know some people in the area that have gyms that would love to host a charity fight and stuff like that. So she'll help organize the fight and stuff like that. So
that's great.
Just so you can punch this guy in the face.
Just so I can beat the brakes off him.
She is awesome.
And like I said, man, I don't like hate any of these guys. I just think some people need to be taught either a lesson, like, either don't say certain things to certain people or anybody that you have no intention of backing up what you say. There's certain things, like my friends, they'll be like, shut your bitch ass up. And they're my friends, and they, they'll call me so many other names. And there's people that I might get into, you'll see on Facebook. But there's certain people that when they issue certain, threats and stuff like that.
Response.
Yeah, and there's certain times.
And it's needed. I had an issue. There's one dude who, like, everybody picked on this guy, right? Everybody. And I would just sit, like, throw, like, a little joke at him about whatever someone was picking. And he would escalate with me over everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, he would just fucking take it on the chin from everybody. But with me, for whatever reason, I'm pretty sure it's normally,
I know what you're talking about.
It's normally because I'm short. It's normally because I'm 5'5" and fucking
your target.
Yeah,
your target.
People see you take shortness as weakness.
We had an ugly
always.
friend that they would do that to, and anytime he started laughing real loud, everybody, I know your ugly ass ain't over there laughing.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't be in shit. He'd be like, what? He'd be like, fuck.
So this kid like popped off at me twice and said like some really just heinous shit, like, I'm gonna fucking beat you in the knees with a tire iron and shit, like telling him he's gonna stab me.
Okay.
And so one night he just said something super just innocuous to me. He called me Lasquisky. He just mispronounced my last name. And I put hands on this motherfucker so fast. And I pushed him out of the back door of the comedy club.
And that was the last straw?
I pushed him up against the wall. He was like, you can't talk shit if you can't fucking take shit, bitch. And I just started shaking him like he was a baby. And Lou Moon came up, and fucking God bless Lou. He's a nice boy. But if you got a cane, don't get in the way of a physical altercation. Like, don't step in. It's not the fucking it's not your place. And Lou tried to step in, and I just, like, real quick gave him one of those. And Lou fucking hit the ground, and I felt so bad.
Oh, the record scratched in the room. Like,
I went and picked up Lou, and then this kid did the dumbest thing he could ever do, and he goes, "See, you're a fucking asshole." And I just fucking went right back to him. I picked him up by his face, and I just grabbed him by his cheeks and pushed him into a wall. And I said, "I will fucking end you." You don't even know how much I'm fucking struggling not to hit you. I just wanted to scare you.
So him messing up your name was the last straw?
I was just like, listen, you're not going to try to punk me after, like, you fucking say the most awful shit to me after I say one little thing to you. Like,
I can honestly understand that to an extent.
I went a little crazy. I was a little drunk.
You went overboard. You went a little overboard. You remember Jake Edwards?
Oh, yeah.
You remember Jake Edwards? I had a similar incident with him, and it was hilarious. Not hilarious, but I'm
sure we'll find it funny, and so will our listeners.
We will probably laugh. Yes.
Nah, but he was a comic out here. I don't know if he does comedy anymore.
He was also like a fucking con artist. Like,
was he?
I mean, Jake Edwards.
Yeah.
That dude was always being fucking shady as.
Yeah.
Like, he was just the shadiest dude. That, and he was clearly on some type of substance every other day.
Well, I don't know, but I ain't gonna put him out like that. I put him out. The thing was, he liked a girl. Because we used to go up to Prescott and stuff like that and do shows and stuff. And I guess he had went out there before and he had, liked this girl, but she, was just a regular girl, wasn't really feeling him. And then I came out there and she was, all on me and stuff. And we started, hitting it off, making out and shit like that. And like he got completely butthurt because he liked her and everything. And I was like, hey, I'm not gonna pay no mind. I knew he was upset about the incident, but I'm not gonna. It's nothing. It doesn't concern me. That's your thing. Right. And the next show, I had people that was telling me, Jake Edwards said that you got his sloppy seconds and all this stuff. And mind you, he had never, even touched the girl's hand or anything like that. So I knew these things were being said, but it was childish. And I was like, I'm not gonna,
right.
First of all, I don't engage in everything, so some things it's just like, hey, you know what? You can be in your feelings. Go ahead.
Yeah. You want to be a baby, be a baby.
Right, And so I knew he was really like the girl. So we had made a couple other shows out there and did the shows. And she was there and we had came back. We were all in the vehicle riding back. But before the vehicle, I was upset because he was on stage hosting. And I was headlining that night. And everybody's intro, he was like, this guy performed over at the Tempe Improv. You're going to love him. Everybody loves him. Yeah. You give it up for. And he would do all these, great.
Yeah, he'd pump everybody.
Right. And then when it came my turn, he was like, come to the stage, Mike B. Dapper. And just walked off, right?
Oh, did you dirty like that?
Shit, right. Man. It was so like, hey, fuck this guy.
That's fucked.
And I was like...
honestly, that's my favorite way to be brought up. To say, just fuck this guy.
That's
my favorite way.
It was so like, and I was like, you know what? Now you're letting this go too far.
Yeah.
Now you're letting this go on the ride back. I just couldn't hold it. I was like, hey, man, if you ever introduce me like that again, I'm gonna beat the brakes off you. Okay. You need to let that shit go. Like you need to stop letting your feelings for these girls interfere with what you're doing.
But he's
on
the type
the
of dude too, like where every girl would be like a girl he's interested in.
Yeah, and he fall in love with girls who don't even get his phone number.
Yeah.
And not saying that he does that now, but at that time, maybe he learned his lesson, but he was in his feelings. So I can understand you getting upset with a horrible intro, especially if you knew it was on some.
No, he didn't
shit.
do it on stage. It was.
Oh, yeah.
He just said it right to his face.
He just said it to my face, and I just pushed him out a door.
Bill has some rage issues. That
I'm the angry one.
I mean, you might be Mike Dapper, catch these hands, but I'm Bill Wiskowski. I'm gonna make you taste your butt.
See, look. Every time, just like I said, my girl, if I'm be out here acting crazy, she prefers I do it the right way. So like I said, I have boxing gloves. I got a pair for me, a pair for whoever.
Yeah.
So I happen to see these guys. Like I said, when I went to go fight Mondo, when I was going to fight him, mind you, everything that I did, like as soon as he start initiating threats online, like we could fight, I left the public forum. Right. I went straight to his inbox and I was like, hey, look, because I never want anybody to think that I'm doing it for show.
Absolutely.
So everything that was said in his inbox. Like, look, where do you want to meet up? Where can we, and he was like, hey, you come down to this park. And then I was like, cool, see you there at 8:30. Because it's the summertime, and you don't want to have a heat stroke.
Hands and fucking,
and I knew damn well he wasn't coming out there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm not even going to set that up for failure.
He didn't go.
No.
That didn't happen.
No, he hit me up maybe around, because at first he agreed to it, and then I was like, bet, because I was supposed to go to his neighborhood, and which was walking distance from his home, I'm assuming, and was going to go there, and I had set all this up in the inbox, and then maybe like 5:30, we were supposed to meet there at 7:30 around there. Around 4:30, 5:30, he was like, yeah, me and my wife are going to go out to dinner tonight, so we can't do this.
Bitch, you don't need to go out to dinner.
I was like, are you serious? Like,
do you know who Mondo Man is?
I know Mondo.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? Are you really? Is this
fucking?
Am I reading this right? Like you're canceling our brawl to go out to dinner with your wife? Okay, this is new. But I was like, all right, so being that you aren't going to be a pussy about this, then I need to draw you out, because obviously you're going to continue. One thing I don't like. I don't like to continue like a back and forth with somebody who's like, oh yeah, you're a pussy this, and then every month, it's this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Just get it over with.
Get it over with.
Yeah.
Afterwards we can go our separate ways. I won't say shit to you. You don't say shit to me.
Honestly, most of the people I've ever fought with or like over a disagreement have wound up becoming really good friends.
That's how it was when you were kids.
Yeah.
It was a respect.
I don't think I've ever like from my childhood, I never liked the dude who wound up being my best friend. Like I always had animosity with them right away. And then like we duked it out or we fucking wrestled for it. Like, cause I grew up a wrestler. So like you wrestle it out and whoever wins, wins. And then, everything's cool.
We used to go in the backyard. I got a little brother.
Fuck, we used to locker box. Like, we'd go get boxing gloves and just go
And
hang out at a dude's fucking dad's garage and just fucking beat the piss out of each other, and nobody had a bad thing to say about the other guy after.
I told him. I told the guy. I told him, I was like, hey, look, you know what? I gave him a choice. I was like, look, I got gloves. I'll bring a pair for you, a pair for me, or we can bare knuckle it. How do you want to do this? Because at the end of the day, I don't hate the man. I just think because he was always that person. He's always that person that when something serious is going on and people are arguing about something serious, here he jumps in consistently with the, hey, everybody, I need attention. Look at me. Right. I'm making a joke of this. And everybody's like, hey, bro, we're sitting up here talking about this chick dropping the N-bomb on stage. Right. Can we have this conversation without you jumping in here and trying to make a joke of the shit? Mm-hmm. And here, and he would consistently be that. And it's like, hey, you need to learn to mind your own business when some things don't concern you. I watch shit go down online all the time with different comics, and I just watch. Yeah. I don't feel the need to sit up there and be like, oh, let me do.
Even when I'm involved in shit online, I'm just like,
now there's plenty of shit that behind the scene. I'm not going to say which shit that it is, but there's plenty of stuff behind the scene that I'll personally go out to and try to squash and talk to both parties. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody ever does this for me, but no, real shit. They just let me just act the fucking fool and be like, this is entertaining.
Well, Matt has a Juris Doctorate, so he will be your legal counsel.
I will not be your legal counsel because I am not a licensed attorney, even though I am a doctor of law.
He'll be your pro bono legal counsel.
I cannot offer you any kind of legal. Hypothetically, however, speaking, we can speak in hypothetical.
Okay. See, that's where we're at. That's all you need from a legal professional, too. Just like explain the situation and hypothetically, what are my chances here?
Hypothetical battery is this.
But I mean, it's just a common respect that you should have for another person.
I agree, 100%.
You don't sit up there and say things, because I say a lot of things. There's plenty of people in this that I've gotten into it with that has never became physical, has never became any threats. It was just pure jokes. Yeah. It was nothing but pure jokes going back and forth where it's like, hey, take that. But when you start crossing certain lines.
Absolutely. It's the lack of self-awareness of what's acceptable to say to your friends and what's acceptable to say to fucking strangers. And it's like, even though we've done a show or two together, we're fucking strangers. Don't talk to me like like I'm your best friend fucking growing up and you can say whatever the fuck you want to me because I don't know you.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Until you come over to my house.
Yeah.
And have some of my wife's food and
that's pretty much
stuff
what
like
it
that.
Is, yeah.
You can't sit up and just run off.
If I have a conversation with you about my kids, like maybe we can fucking joke around with each other a little bit. It's that. I mean, that's what to me.
Yeah.
If I let you into
open doors,
if I let you into some part of my life that's deeper than me cracking dick jokes on a stage, you know what I mean, about my pretend life, my exaggerated circumstances that I make up that you think you fucking know something about. When I tell you really what's happening, I consider you a friend, and we can say whatever the fuck we want to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I held that same, I don't fucking go talk shit to people online who I don't fucking know. I'm not about fucking tearing people down. That's the thing is taking advantage of people. I think people sometimes view comedy like they take advantage of people in situations to get their shit up higher, to get their name up higher, to get their name in people's mouths. where it's like, you know what? We're still fucking human beings.
Absolutely.
Be a good human being. Be a kind person. And on top of that, be fucking funny. Because you'll be funnier if you're a kind human being and you care about people and you care about situations. That just makes the rest of the shit funnier.
You nailed it. You nailed it. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a certain pool of people that always will want to get fame or attention off of people who they who they feel has that fame that they want. So if they can get a rile out of them, if they can sit up there and crack and act like they are friends, and it's like a lot of times people assume because you're a comedian that like, hey, you're supposed to respond with jokes. That's what you do. And I'm like, hey, first of all, I'm a man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And
yeah, exactly.
I put this comedy. There's so many things I am before I'm a comedian. Yeah. You know, so it's like before you start saying you're a comedian, you're supposed to respond with jokes. That person didn't come at me with jokes.
Yeah.
So if you come at me with jokes, I'll respond with jokes. Yeah. But if you come at me with violence, then I have to respond back with violence because that's.
Or you just come at me like trying to make me a bitch. Like,
I'll usually respond with jokes a few times until I realize, like, all right, you're not fucking playing around.
You're not trying to be funny here.
You're not trying to be funny. And so now we have a fucking issue.
My mom's colon problem doesn't sound like something I was trying to tell you. It sounded like you were reading my page and saw me crying about this. And
social media is a goddamn. That's the thing that's gonna end human progress.
It's a setback. Media. It's hard. It's hard because with so many beautiful things that it can do, is so many horrible things that it does too.
Yeah,
and it's sort of like parenting. You have to adjust with the times. Yeah. So like as a parent, you know, you have to understand what social network sites there are. You have to understand Snapchat. You have to understand Instagram. Yeah. You can't just walk around and just be like, I'm not on that. I don't worry about. But yet your kid is. Yeah. And now you don't understand why your kid is being bullied on Instagram. And you're like, what the fuck is an Instagram? Yeah. And here it is. You're like, okay, well, if you kind of knew, you kind of were like in touch with things that you can kind of police things and how they are on there, or kind of monitor how they are on their site, and it's just a whole adjusting with the times that it's hard to do.
Yeah, honestly, it's also fucking new too. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about it. It's like this is technology that's what?
How old are your kids?
5 years old?
Huh?
How old are your kids?
I got a 19-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a one on the way.
Oh, nice.
So. With the 19-year-old, I mean, you kind of bypassed most of the shit.
Yeah,
you know, like
in
the formative years, this shit wasn't around. But you got a 3-year-old right now,
right?
And like when I was dating a girl who had 2 small boys, like 6 and 4, and they would watch this fucking shit on YouTube. YouTube is the devil,
man,
for children.
Yeah,
not necessarily. It can be.
It can be if you have parents who are not like vigilant.
Yeah,
dude, they would basically watch like these other kids as like kind of like parentally produced reality shows, and it was just the fucking most disgusting thing I think I've ever seen. Was these parents that are like essentially like they're like Macaulay Culkin's parents, but on fucking YouTube. You know what I mean? Like they're just
Macaulay Culkin listening, got his life together, and just shed a sad tear on that one.
Aw, Macaulay, it's okay.
He had some rough years though. Man.
He did.
He was looking like he was gonna make it for a second. I was like, I don't know if you're not eating or it's too much crystal meth, but
I don't know. Was it crystal meth or black tar?
Heroin,
I'm pretty sure it was
probably.
Heroin.
He's very white, so
you saw him in that commercial, the whole new Home Alone commercial. Yeah. You were like, good for you.
I was very happy for him.
Yeah, you haven't seen that commercial? Oh, you got to see this shit. I almost shed a tear for him. I was like, good for you.
That's awesome.
He looked like adult Kevin McAllister.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, seriously. It was like, oh, man, you like
that's how we thought you were supposed to look. Hell of a makeover. Whoever did that job, good job.
There was, at one point, he looked like that. Did you ever see him in that movie Party Monster?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh, God.
I think the last movie I saw him in was The Good Son.
He was in Party Monster, and like he looked just fit the role perfectly.
Yeah.
Like remember when Christian Bale cut down to like just gauntly skinny?
I've seen the
role?
pictures. I never
Like,
saw what that movie was.
Nah.
I mean, it looked like he was character acting for it, and like really committed to the role. Like,
Sometimes,
but it was that's just where he was.
like that 50 Cent movie that I never seen that he got like super skinny for. And
Oh,
it's
really?
Like, yeah. You ever see that picture? It's like that's not 50, and he's like
Really?
all
Is he
bone.
just tiny?
Yeah, like bone and like
Whoa.
bone, and it's like I never even seen this movie. Why would you commit this hard? Like, you know, Martin Scorsese did not do this one. Like, that's the only time you put that kind of commitment into the role.
Dude, actually, you could probably tell him. Is 50 Cent, he's not legit, right? Like,
Yeah.
but he, like, didn't he buy that story from, or did
I
he
mean,
not
the
buy
name?
it? The name.
The
It's
name,
just
yeah.
the name, right?
Yeah.
The name was his drug dealer's name.
Yeah.
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 But then,
But it was a famous drug dealer.
yeah. But then everything else that happened actually happened to him.
To an extent, let's
It's
say
not like a what you call it. Who am I thinking of?
he was grinding. We'll just
Who's
say
the
I
crack
can
guy?
confirm that he was grinding. That's
was
that's
grinding.
very vague language.
Yeah.
He was grinding, and he got shot.
Okay.
All that in between, you know. But 50 is probably one of my favorite rappers / actors /
He's a good actor,
because he's
actually.
actually a really funny person.
Yeah.
If you ever watch him, like his little like roast Floyd Mayweather, or whenever he's roasting anybody,
Yeah.
50's funny.
Really?
He's very like clever with his insults.
I remember when I first heard 50 Cent, and I was like, this is very good.
I always liked
I'm going
50
to
Cent.
listen to this.
I did always like him. But then I heard that shit where he was like he was using his drug dealer's name.
But
for his-
who's real
for his
anyway?
name.
Who's real anyway?
but
You got British
it's like
rappers
all right,
as trap stars now.
Rick Ross is a prime example.
Yeah.
Like there's the real Rick Ross who was part of the Iran-Contra scandal and running fucking crack for the government essentially. And then there's
Freeway Ricky Ross.
Yeah, and then there's rapper Rick Ross, who's just a fat piece of shit.
I mean, you know, he was it's they ought to make good movies on.
They really should.
like factual movies because you know he was a CEO.
That guy's real life was crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
And then Rick Ross, he was a CO, right?
yeah, yeah. So. In between, maybe he was selling drugs. I don't know.
He might have been.
I don't want to say no, he wasn't. And you know, he'd
I
be
mean,
like,
if you're a corrections officer and you're not selling drugs, then you ain't making enough money.
it's hard not to be.
Yeah, really. How do you support a family?
Jesus, that's my cousin. I have a female
Who's
cousin.
a correction officer who sells
Correction-
drugs?
No, she didn't sell drugs.
You basically
Yeah,
just
like you
fucking
can't
outed her.
segue into.
You can't
you know,
be
speaking
like
of,
you can't
But she,
afford to be a
she
CEO and not
fucking-
sell drugs.
She was a CO, and then she hooked up with a prisoner. And then, like, when I don't know if they were hooking up in the jail or not, but when he got out, they were together.
Obviously, were hooking
They
up
had
in
to
the
be.
jail.
Yeah.
Had to be. And then, like, this dude
She
got
probably met
all
him selling
fucking
drugs in
weird
there.
and crazy. And
No
like,
shit. Really?
Yeah. Dude, it was just a big
I mean,
what to
it's
do.
hard to be a female CEO in a men's prison because they're lonely, so they're going to be saying all the most romantic things every day and be making you feel like a superstar, especially if you're ugly. This is like being the prom queen, like
Dude,
every day.
I went to
work.
school at a tech school with 2,500 people, and there were 3 women that I knew from school. Like there were only 3. Every class had like at least 50 dudes in it,
Yeah.
and there were 3 chicks that I ever came in contact with. 2 of them were just, you know, what's a nice way to say ogre?
Say what? Older?
Ogre.
Ogre? You pretty much just said it. Yeah.
And
You
then
can't clean ogre up.
the last one, her last name
Ogress?
was Dietrich, and we used to call her Dick Trick because she would do weird things with dudes' dicks at parties, like just in the middle of the party, like
her.
you know, snorting
earn
a
that
couple
nickname.
lines, snorting a couple lines off a fat piece, or You know, I watched her catch a goldfish in her mouth once off the tip of a dude's cock.
Wow.
You ever wonder what these people are doing now?
I do. I really do. I would love to know where Dick Trick landed.
See, and here we were shitting on Facebook, but this is exactly what it's for, to be able to see what those people are doing.
I mean, I can't remember her actual. I can't remember her first name at all.
I'm going to be the contrarian. I fucking think Facebook and social media is fantastic, especially because as soon as someone starts getting real fucking irritating, I just hit the unfollow button. So I completely filter all the shit that I see, and I only see shit that I like.
It's hard though to do that because there's times where you know.
It took me a while to realize that I had the power to fucking censor what I was taking into my brain on a daily basis. I've
been doing that for years. I've been unfollowing for years. There's maybe of the 2,000 people I'm friends with on Facebook, there's maybe 180 that I follow, at all. And it's just I want to see the shit I want to see. Yeah. But B, it's just people put a lot of fucking noise into the world.
They do, because for the first time in this world, we have the ability to have a microphone. Everybody has a microphone.
Yeah.
And you can cry out, and you can get so many different responses. Where, I remember working, I worked with kids for 16 years, and I remember working in a homeless group home for teenagers, and there was a girl in there who just loved to make up stories. She would make up the most heart-wrenching stories and would tell you stuff, and you would believe the shit, and it was the empathy that she would get, that people would be like, oh my God, and then you find this shit out and be like, how could you make something up like this?
Yeah.
And some people just love to get feelings and feedback. And, I see guys.
There's a lot of emotional vampires in the world. And that's one thing, I don't think I ever had it in my life where I had someone that was like that. And you know the person I'm talking about. They're the person that hits you up out of the blue and tells you you're great and they're shit. And why they do that is because they want you to build them.
Is that why you keep sending me these text messages late at night? Fucking tired of it.
I'm not Mike Enders. Go fuck yourself. But you know what I mean? It's just, I don't respond to that at all. That bothers the fuck out of me. And maybe it's me just not being I don't there's some days I'm I'm not a caring person because I can't just sit there and fucking give these people what they want.
Do you think that because we have a lot of suicides, in society now, it feels like it's going up.
Yeah.
Do you think that social media plays a heavier role in that?
I definitely do, because I think bullying is gotten even more crazy than we were kids.
I agree.
I don't know if you I don't know if you got bullied. I got bullied when I was a kid because I've always been the smallest kid. Always been the shortest. There was only one person shorter than me, and her name is she's a dude. She's a dude now. She's a dude now.
She was always a dude, Bill. She was always a dude.
Yeah.
But bullying could play a part in it, but the fact that there are so many envious people out there.
Yeah.
And so just the littlest things, the smallest things, you posting something like I farted today and it getting 200 likes, and then someone seeing that and being like, well, I poured my heart out and I only got 10 likes, and them seeing just the jealousy of, just like when you were in high school and kids were like, I don't like the fact that person gets all that attention.
Yeah.
Where we're back in high school.
Yeah.
Where 20 years ago, when you left high school, you left high school. You didn't have that contact with the people that you went to high school with. You couldn't sit up there and have a full conversation with everybody you went to high school with. Yeah. Where now, you never leave high school. You're constantly in high school because you're constantly in that community of people where you can, just like after class or after third hour, everybody's chiming about something that went on. Same thing in on Facebook. Same thing on Twitter. Same thing on Instagram. So it's like
I have the utmost respect for the people that can just say nah to social media. Like,
I would get off social media if it were not for
honestly
trying to find.
I don't know if I could.
If I didn't have
I'd
to
have
be
FOMO.
It would be tough.
I'd have fear. I'd have fear that I would miss something.
It's the fact that you do have, like, now when a celebrity dies, or now when something happens in the world, you find out through
I have
social media.
instantaneous news.
Yeah.
Like most of the things I actually pay attention to on social media are news outlets or fucking meme generators. Like that's about it though. Like that's what I'm really like looking at. That's
Because
what I'm reading.
Just think about it. Just like right after something happens in a major game, the first thing you want to know is what kind of memes are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
kind of memes are out there?
Oh fuck it. Or like there's the Maroon 5 fucking bullshit.
Go play 3 days in baseball and be like, healthcare for life. Thanks,
Yeah.
MLB. You know,
The guaranteed contracts is a real issue.
Yeah.
Especially, when you have running backs whose average career length is 3.5 years, and they don't even get to the point where they're actually making that money, and then they're fucking ruined for the rest of their
right.
lives.
And now they don't have health care to sit up there and pay for all that.
Yeah.
And between that and then after all of that, you go to Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that's a slap in the face. You know, it's a.
I'm unaware of what happened there.
Now and because I used to be a season ticket holder. I had front row seats, Cardinals for the 4 seasons.
Really?
Like me and my wife would be there every week, front row, like right on the red zone. Like my foot would be like hanging off the rail. All right, and the final season when all that was going on, I wore my Kaepernick shirt the whole season because I just didn't feel right just being there, and then the way the NFL handled it, and they were
Did they give him the boot or what? What happened?
no,
with
they
him?
basically blackballed him. They
So
were
he
like,
can't get signed.
So none
And
all
it's
the
just
owners
because he was fucking taking knees.
Yeah, and it was because the president with his whole comrade Trump with his whole I hate the NFL for not allowing me to be an owner.
Yeah.
Attack on the NFL, which was the only real smart thing that I saw him execute, was his attack on being able to get both sides to hate the NFL. Black people and white people. He got everybody to hate the NFL because he got black people to sit up there and be like, look, the NFL doesn't care about you. Look how they don't sit up there and they don't care about you. Then he got white people to hate the NFL because he was like, oh, well, look at them. They don't respect the flag. They don't love this country. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, since they're going to sit up here and kneel, we're not going to watch this game. So it was like, it was smart. It was an evil genius plan right there. Sometimes the bad guys win.
He's real long game, fucking weird, evil genius plans that keep coming to fruition. Like every time I'm like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yep.
Like I constantly am like, this guy is the biggest idiot in the world, and then 6 months later I'm like, what the fuck did he just do? How did he pull that off?
Yeah.
He's done some real fucking crazy
And the
evil genius shit.
creepiest thing is like the FBI is investigating this motherfucker
Heavy.
heavy.
Oh yeah.
They've arrested and sentenced a few people, or not sentenced, but they've arrested and convicted like people
Several plea agreements.
that are involved with him,
Yeah.
and still he's Teflon.
Not yet. We'll see.
This is going to be an amazing movie.
Yeah.
One day, it really will be.
I hope Martin Scorsese is alive for this one. I do, because this is like, nobody does mob movies better. And this is as close to a great mob story as you're ever going to get.
Really
I
is.
mean, like, so in 2015, when the election was going and everything, I remember listening to Joey Diaz on the Church of What's Happening talk about how, like, Trump in the 80s would basically bankrupt businesses, and he would do some real shady shit. And I wonder how many mob connections he actually does have, because he probably has quite a fucking few.
Have I told you about my sister?
No.
So my oldest sister was given up for adoption when my parents were kids. They got pregnant when they were kids. my mom was forced to go to a Catholic home for unwed mothers and give the baby up for adoption. So
Very common in Catholic households.
So
in the
her
60s.
the family who
70s.
adopted her adoptive grandfather, was either a steel guy or a general contractor, and basically built Trump Tower. And when it came time to get a paycheck at the end, it was like, no, we're bankrupt. You don't get anything. And he fucking lost everything.
That's how he does all his business.
That's how he's done everything.
All his business.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that dude's the fucking leader of our nation.
You know, everybody's always says the most far-fetched things can't be real. Like, and that is how you actually get away with things by, like, you know, when you're a cheater and your wife says, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to fuck another bitch." Yeah. And she's like, "Stop playing. Where are you going?"
Yeah.
"I'll be back in an hour. Calm down." And he goes out and he fucks another bitch. You know, she didn't think anything of it because he was that honest and that. So some things that are really just done so blatantly to your face, it's like
You don't pick up on them because you don't think they can be real.
as a black man, we sit back and we sit up here and we watch these things unfold and we say, and it's funny too because somebody asked me the other day, who do you want to be president in 2020? Who are you looking at?
Yeah.
And honestly, it sounds crazy. I was like,
I want Dwayne Johnson.
No,
I want The Rock.
I want the people's. I want the even if he did run. As much as I would want to vote for him,
I would vote for
honestly
Dwayne
want
Johnson
real,
fast.
change in this country. And I know how this country is. Regardless, if we have a woman, if we have a black minority, they're not going to do anything. It's because at the end of the day, no offense, guys, but white men do not want anybody but white men to succeed at president. Because if it does happen, then it will set a precedent where people will want a woman.
Where do you think all the old money is?
Huh?
All the old money is in old white men's pockets. That's where all the money is.
Mm-hmm. And you can't fuck up the house money.
You can't fuck with the house money. That's exactly it.
So, with that being said, I would prefer a what's his name? What's my guy? Somebody like the dude in Texas, Beto
O'Rourke.
I wanted, honestly, when I voted last time, I wrote in Elizabeth Warren.
Oh,
I'm an independent, but I'm gonna have to switch over to a Democrat.
I switched from an independent to Democrat so that I could actually vote in primaries.
Yeah,
kind of make it. I didn't feel like I was making enough of a difference as an independent.
I feel the same way, but it's like I just don't want to be labeled as a Democrat.
I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Democrats. I don't like Republicans.
Yeah.
I don't like either one of them. I feel the Democrats are far too weak, and I feel the Republicans are far too corrupt. Yeah. And in between,
it's hard to be a moderate. It's hard to be a political moderate because there's no real place for you. No. Because if you do vote independently,
then you're fucking up the election.
Then you're just you're literally just casting a protest vote to vote independently because it's never going to matter. In a bipartisan system, a independent is never going to win nationally.
Nope.
Ever.
Yeah, the two-party system's fucked, and until an overhaul happens, nothing will change, but it's not going to happen.
And that's honestly why it's just like, why the fuck should I vote if this system is so broken?
But then that's where the con comes in. I feel the same way. I voted in every election that I
voted because I don't want to catch that where I didn't. I was explained to it this way when I was a kid by a civics teacher who I still respect immensely as an adult. And he said this. He said, listen, it's your right as an American to vote, and that right can be taken away. Mm-hmm. So if you don't use it, then you don't have a right to say anything about anything that you don't like happening.
I agree.
So if you don't go vote, you don't go voice your opinion with that action, then who the fuck are you to say that, this is whatever you think it is?
I vote because I know people don't want me to vote, and I vote because people died so I can vote.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think, and the sad part about this country and the way we do things is we try to strip history from the youth.
Oh, fuck yeah.
We try to, if you look at history books, more and more history gets taken out. Like, yeah, things get, confirmed that weren't, were misleading before. And then it's like, okay, that's new. Christopher Columbus, what? You should be able to put the real facts, but they take out all the information so that kids can be racist. Like we build racism in the kids of this generation by taking out the history of the past. So now kids are growing up being like, why? Oh, he's just complaining. He's complaining. But if you know the history, then you're like, oh, you know what? This has been systematically done, and this is why this is like that. And okay, now I have a different input on the way that they are actually conducting themselves, or the way that they're going, or why they are the way they are. But being that history is taken out, then these kids don't know that.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
I don't remember what it was. It was that fucking Texas Book Depot where they fucking all these books, all these textbooks for like high schools and shit. They all go through this one place in Texas that like approves them all. At least it was like fucking 5
It gives
years
them like
ago,
accreditation, essentially.
It's just they're the people who print all the fucking textbooks.
I really want to know about them.
I'll have to see if I can
I
find it.
I honestly, I'm thinking, and I remember almost every book that I ever had in high school was McGraw-Hill.
Yeah.
probably that.
McGraw-Hill's probably the company.
That would be an amazing documentary.
Dude, it'd be crazy,
I'm
right?
sure it's been done.
Yeah.
I haven't listened. I used to listen to fucking This American Life all the time. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I'm pretty sure that's where I heard it on.
It's a great show.
But I'll find it. I'll send it to you. See
Might
if it's the
catch
whole
these
thing.
hands, Dapper. Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh man, I'm everywhere. I got the League of Extraordinary Comedians show coming up.
That's that, yeah. And
February 27th.
Big thank you to you did a show for
Danielle Williams.
For Danielle Williams. So big thank you for that.
No doubt.
That's huge. Like, in this industry we don't have healthcare, so you putting your show out there and helping to raise money for somebody, that's fucking powerful, and we appreciate that for sure. When's the next show?
February 27th at the House of Comedy.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome.
House
Yeah.
of Comedy. I'll be at House of Comedy February 20th.
Okay.
Just saying. For the Bingos and Brews show. with
I like
Matt,
that show.
With
I'll be
Pop
there
Pop.
too.
I like that show.
That's a fun
You have
show.
you have a
It is.
website?
Huh?
Do you have a website?
I don't, but you
Get
can
the-
catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Mike B. Dapper.
Perfect.
Still doing those Snapchat glasses?
I do.
Yeah,
I
those
do.
You
are-
get the
those are
Snapchat
cool.
glasses
Yeah,
still?
because I snap more than I do anything.
Do you really?
My whole day is pretty much
What's
snapped
your
every day.
Snapchat?
Mike B. Dapper.
Perfect. So easy.
It's entertaining. Like every day, like I was at the zoo today.
You're at the zoo today?
Yeah, like
Motherfucker.
every
You live
day,
a
like
better
I'm a
life
stay-at-home
than I am.
dad. I'm retired like 5 years ago, bro.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's fucking beautiful.
So all I do now is work on my kids.
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's honestly like good for you.
Yeah,
That's fucking fantastic. More dads should take the Mike Dapper approach to dadding.
It's I had a few years where I got to just be at home with
Did
the
you
kids.
really?
Yeah, I was finishing my bachelor's degree, and so
trying.
I was gone at school a couple days, but the days I was home, I was taking care of the kids, and that was very rewarding. I really appreciated it.
All right. Well, everybody can see.
Are you finally paying off?
I am
I
not a
did see
welcher. I am not a fucking welcher. I have pink nails.
You gonna
I
do
am-
it for 2 months now?
No.
Since you skipped the whole fucking month?
So I skipped a month because that was the month I was supposed to be
Why do
sober.
you have the pink nails?
I made a bet with Kearley that
Okay.
I would be sober for January, and I was not. I had a toothache, so I continued.
Two things, so he needed
I
things in his
continued
body.
to smoke copious amounts of marijuana because I don't have dental. And
Hey, I know that life, bro.
Yeah.
I knew that life.
yeah, so this was we have a bet bucket. This is the bet bucket, and it's just got a bunch of heinous shit in here. And luckily, this was probably one of the least. But I will say that I did go buy a pair of gloves today to go mount a dude's TV. I'm not gonna run into your house to fucking do man shit with pink nails.
We all confused. Huh?
What the fuck's going on?
Imagine how much more
But still, though,
emasculating it would have been.
yeah, that's a
for
real
him, though.
cuck job. Is a dude that shows up in fucking hot pink nails mounts your TV because you can't do it. I do have an announcement to make. I wanna make before we end the podcast. On March 20th at House of Comedy, I will be producing my first show. That's all mine and something that I have to put a fuck ton of work into.
It takes work.
Yeah,
It definitely work.
It's called When Jokes Attack.
Okay.
A comedy show.
I like that.
And it's gonna be.
name.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
And
Dude, I dig it.
the premise of it is comics gonna go up and do time, and then at the end of their time, we're making a sketch beforehand of one of their jokes, and then they're gonna like narrate it on these mics, and I'll overlay the narration of their bit on a silent sketch of that action of that series of events that they describe.
Oh, okay.
So it'll kind of like be like bringing the joke to life.
Oh, okay. That's
So
dope.
it'll be
that'd be cool.
It'll be a really cool show. Tickets will be $5. It's on a Wednesday night. If anybody that watches this show can come support, we'll love you immensely. Mike Dapper, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks,
No,
Mike.
no, thanks for having me.
That
This
was
was
fun.
fucking great. Have a great night. We love you all.
Later.
Bye.
Meat sweats, motherfucking meat sweats, meat sweats, yeah.